Okay. All right, hello and welcome to another IELTS speaking practice video by IELTS Johnny. So in this video, Miss Anh Thư is going to do her speaking practice. So Miss Thư, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I presume that you're ready. Okay, let's talk about science. 41. So do you like science? Miss Thư, do you like science?
To be honest, I am not really a big fan of science.
Mm,
Can you
but
hear
what
me?
is the reason? Yeah, I can hear you well, but it's a bit small, so that's why I increase the volume.
Yeah. Is that
Okay, I'm
okay?
still listening to you. Yeah. Yeah. Still here. All right, please. So when did you start to learn about science? When did you start to learn about science then? Hmm? Mr. Science here means like all the science subjects, including math, physics, chemistry, biology, something like that, you know? Uh, it seems like you are getting cut off, Mr. Is it? Do you hear me well? I think there was a problem. Hey, let's try the last question again. So when did you start to learn about science? Science means math, physics, chemistry, biology, you know. So when did you start to learn about science?
Well, I have been learning science for since I started school. I mean, they are both they are compulsory subjects in my school curriculum, so I have been studying them since.
I see. So which science subject is interesting to you and why?
Well, to be honest, I don't think I am interested in any science subject
Interested.
because I have interested. I think I don't have a head for science, and I think they are pretty complicated for me. I just like, literature or history, yeah, instead of those science subjects.
I see. So what kinds of interesting things have you done with science? Like any kind of experiment, any kind of field work or something, you know? Like when people were used to study science, we sometimes we do field work, sometimes we do grow stuff at home, like grow beans and what do we call bean sprout, you know, like it's called mung bean as well. We grow those things. Okay, yeah. So, what kind of interesting thing have you done with science?
Well, when I was like in grade 4, I once grew bean sprout, and I think it was a really interesting experience for me. Also, I did have some experience um, in going in the outside world and do some experiment. I think it's pretty fun for me.
Hmm. I see. So, do you think people should learn science more?
Well, to be honest, I do think that people should learn science more because although personally I don't like those subjects, but I think they play an important role in everyone's daily life. So I think it is people should learn science more.
Mm, I see. But you know, learning science actually helps people a lot so that they do not get fooled easily, you know, to not get cheated or fooled easily. because these days you have heard about the stories, a lot of stories of what's it called? Supplements, thực phẩm chức năng, supplements, like things that people sell online, and a lot of things that is not proven to work by science. So it means that science do not prove that they work, but people still sell them, and then they say that this supplement will help you live a better life, will help you age better, something like that. Have you heard about them?
Yeah,
So
I have.
I would say that people should learn science more because they will not get fooled or cheated easily. So that's one reason I think people should learn science. It's not just about knowledge, it's about not getting fooled, Để khỏi bị lừa. Okay, so a science museum popular in your country, like a museum that showcase or the museum that display record, fossil records are basically old bones and anything that belong to science, a science museum popular in your country? Why not?
To be honest, I don't really think that science museums are popular in my country. On the contrary, I think that museums that display art or um, that display art are much more popular destinations for people in my country, as I think people in my country have an interest in arts much more than in science. So I
Okay,
think that's why people choose that.
I see. Right, I see. But I think people should there should be more science museums because you don't want people to be clueless about nature, If people are clueless, they are much more likely to get fooled and they're much more likely to believe in things that are untrue. And also science museum, I think they let people expand their knowledge. All right, so let's try another one, which is 45 about handwriting. So do you like handwriting?
Absolutely, I love handwriting. I think writing by hand does give me a chance to like memorize things better, and moreover, my handwriting is pretty good. So of course, I do like handwriting.
I do believe that your handwriting is good because if your voice sounds good, your handwriting should be good. I mean, just like my experience, I
Thank
think.
you. Yeah.
I mean, I also have good handwriting. People often say that, and it's like I think it's like everything is in one package, giống như một cái gói vậy đó. If you have a good voice, you should probably be able to sing well, or you should probably be able to write well because you have the charm, nó có cái duyên á, nó giống đi theo một cái package. Ai có duyên nói hay, tiếng nói hay thì có thể hát được tốt hoặc là something like that, hoặc là viết tốt or something like that. I don't know. It's just like what I experience in my life, I think. So, do you think handwriting is important?
Well, I think handwriting is important because as I said before, it does help people to like memorize things better. But but in this modern era, uh, people rely many people do rely on technological device and like uh,
Technological device, you mean?
online notes. Yeah, online notes to like write down their uh, to-do list, so I think it is important, but it's not like
Yes.
I think handwriting is important, but there's still many types of writing that
People use typing. People type all the time, and
yeah.
basically now handwriting is becoming a kind of how can I say, a lost art, a lost art. Một cái nghệ thuật đang mất đi dần dần. It's a lost art. So what do you think about that?
Mm, well, I think typing is pretty convenient, I guess. And
Mm.
handwriting, you have to carry a notebook or something like that. And I think sometimes it does cause a little like trouble to people. But using the typing, you have the device everywhere you go. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good development.
Do you know about calligraphy? Calligraphy is a name, is a noun of an art to write really beautifully, to write cursive, cursive, là những cái kiểu mà rồng bay phượng múa, mấy kiểu mà chữ đẹp mà kiểu uốn lượn á. These are called cursive. Those kind of beautiful curves of handwriting. I mean cursive, or you can call them calligraphy. Okay, so which do you prefer, handwriting or typing, and why?
To be honest, I think I prefer typing
Mm.
because uh, because to me personally, I think typing is much more convenient than handwriting. Because I always carry my phone around, so whenever I need to write out something, I just need to open an app like a note, and then I can write whatever down. But when I use handwriting, I always have to carry a notebook or something like that, and I think it caused me a little annoyance, I guess.
I see. But these days, people type a lot and it's actually faster, way faster than handwriting. I mean, so what's the differences between handwriting and typing then? What do you think? Besides from the speed.
Well, I think it's about the way people write. I mean, some people can write beautifully, but others cannot. I mean, so sometimes they find it hard to read their own handwriting. So instead, they will use typing. So uh, yeah, it's one reason, and it's about the convenience as well. As I said before,
Mm.
handwriting requires much handwriting requires um, many items, but typing does not. So I think that's the differences.
I see, but well, some people they appreciate, of course, people will appreciate handwriting much more than typing because they know that people that if you spend the time to train your skill in handwriting and then you write beautifully, that deserve a lot of respect. That deserve the respect. Đáng được trân trọng chứ. Of course, that deserve the respect much more than typing. Typing is so easy, so that's why it's not that valuable. But when you have to write with your own hand to a piece of paper and given to a human being, that is something, right? That deserve the respect. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Khi mình phải viết ra một miếng giấy, mình luyện tập để viết thật đẹp và viết ra một miếng giấy và đưa đến một con người. Cái điều đó nó đáng được tôn trọng chứ. Of course, that deserves the respect. But typing is so easy. Mhm. Okay, so did you like writing when you were a child? Why not?
Definitely. As a
Mm.
kid, I love I love
Child,
write
child. Remember,
as a
do
child.
not use dad, mom, kid, or stuff, or gonna, wanna in IELTS, okay? These are not formal. So as a child, as a child, Did you like writing
As
when you was a child?
definitely as a child, I loved writing. Uh, Actually, I even attended a competition for writing. Like uh, compete whether you have the most beautiful handwriting. So it gave me a sense of achievement when I enter that competition. I don't really remember if I won or not, but yeah it uh, but I think I really loved writing when I was a child.
Mm-hmm. I see. So, right. So, what kind of things do you write during a typical day and why? Like, for example, do you write notes? Do you write on stickers? Do you write your schedules or schedule? Or maybe you write things to as a what's it called? Memo, a memo sticker, Or what do you write during a typical day? Write here means typing also, Cái write này nó có thể có nghĩa
Mm,
là đánh máy đó nha. So what kinds of thing do you write during a typical day and why? And why?
when during a typical day, I write my school work because yeah, it writing helps me to memorize the information much better, and also I write my daily schedules or my weekly schedule. Also, I write some notes about what is most important, and then yeah, what I have to do immediately and what's not. So yeah, during uh, writing those things during a typical day helps me to organize things better, and it helps me to remember what to do, not to like forget any one of them. So I think it's really helpful.
I see. Okay, now let's move on to part two and part three now. Mm, okay, so let's see. Let's try 70. Okay, we tried 74 already. So let's try 75 then. Describe a difficult thing you did. Miêu tả một điều khó khăn mà bạn đã làm. You should say what it was, how you did or completed it. Bạn đã hoàn thành nó như thế nào? Why it was difficult, tại sao điều đó lại khó khăn? And how you felt about doing it. Bạn cảm thấy nào về chuyện làm điều đó? And you have part three. What kind of jobs require people to be confident? Loại công việc nào yêu cầu con người ta phải tự tin? So think about confidence are often the trait that people who have to show their face have to be in front of the crowd, those kind of people, they have to possess confidence, of course. So think about, MC is a master of ceremony, right? The MC is basically master of ceremony. Or you can talk about like a voice talent, voice talent people, jobs that require voice talent, you have to be confident with your voice. If you're not confident, people will know immediately through your voice. Mấy cái job mà nó yêu cầu phải có tài năng về giọng nói chỉ cần em chút xíu xíu em không có confident, em không có tự tin, ngay tức khắc người ta cảm thấy được liền ngay trong cái giọng luôn á. So jobs that require a good voice requires people to be confident, and also think about not just acting, but also singing, or any jobs that require you to be able to show your talent or to show your ability. Okay, so think about that. And you should also talk about like what jobs does not require people to confident, like jobs that you can do behind the scene. Mình sẽ nói về những cái job mà mình không cần cái confident nữa. Like behind the scene, people often work behind the scene who are like, let's say, technicians. Những cái job mà ví dụ như là em làm kỹ thuật viên chẳng hạn, cái technicians, you do not need to have confidence. Or jobs that, like for example, IT specialist, or any jobs that you do behind the computer screen. Like for example, as an online tutor, I do not need to be too confident. I do not necessarily need to show my face. That's why. So next question, on what occasions should children be encouraged and how? Trong những cái dịp nào trẻ em nên được khuyến khích? Tại sao? Như thế nào chứ, sorry, how? So like think about encouraging children to make new friends, to pick up a hobby, to pick up new hobby, to make a decision themselves. That is very important, to make a decision by themselves. Very important. Because if they do not make decision by themselves, they will not have the confidence. And that is very bad. So how should children be encouraged? So you should think about that. Like if you do have a brother or sister, how would you encourage that person to do something, to have confidence, to carry on, to do something? Like for example, if you have to give dating advice, cho lời khuyên về hẹn hò chẳng hạn, to give dating advice, how would you encourage them? Of course, children here means they are lower than 10 years old. Oh, you should not you should not give dating advice, of course. Anyway, think about this one. Think about how you can encourage children to solve conflicts by themselves. Tự giải quyết vấn đề của chúng. To solve conflict by themselves, to solve their own problems, to build confidence. But how, you have to think about this one. Now, how do you help children stay focused? Làm thế nào con người ta có thể giúp trẻ nhỏ tập trung? So think about how you can remove distractions help them remove the distractions, help them stay focused better. Is it a habit that can be learned? Thực sự là tập trung là một cái thói quen có thể được học nha. It's like you try to keep children focused for like 15 minutes straight, and then slowly you increase it to 20 minutes, and then 25, and then 30 minutes. Like slowly you increase the concentration time. Nó giống như là một cái bài tập về sự tập trung ấy. Tăng dần thời gian tập trung lên nhé. Just increase slowly the concentration time, and it can help people to stay focused very well, I think. And there should be a routine. There should be a routine that children follow. Because if you follow routine, it's actually easier to stay focused, because when it's their study time, they know they have to stay focused. So it's like their head will not think about so many things. They stay focused better. Anyway, think about what challenges do young people face today. Người trẻ ngày nay phải đối diện với những cái thách thức gì? think about the challenges of finding a job, because now it's like fierce competition for jobs. There's a lot of fierce competition for jobs these days. Think about the fact that they have to, there's a risk of being replaced by AI, by artificial intelligence. The risk of being replaced by artificial intelligence is very high actually. Nguy cơ bị thay thế bởi trí thông minh nhân tạo rất là cao luôn á. So think about that. Think about health risk. Health risk of sitting too much to work. Ngồi quá nhiều, nguy cơ sức khỏe gì. Think about online scams. Think about đôi khi người ta có đủ thứ quá, nó cũng là một cái bất lợi. Sometimes when you have all the food in the world, you have all the comfort, all the conveniences, những sự tiện nghi. When you have all the food, all the conveniences in the world, in the modern world, actually it is a challenge because sometimes in order to find motivation, tìm động lực, to strive for something better, it's actually harder when you have all the conveniences, when life is so perfect, you know. Để mà vượt được cái sướng á, tìm động lực á, để mà vượt sướng khó lắm nha, phải không đâu? It's actually a challenge. I think it's a real challenge to people. Back then, about 20, 30 years ago, when Vietnam was still a poor country, the motivation to strive for a better life is actually very high. But now, when you have everything, food is available, everything, and you have all the conveniences to help your life, to live an easy life. Actually, it's harder to find motivation. People usually don't have a motivation to study much these days compared to the past, you know. Ngày nay thực sự mà vượt sướng khó lắm luôn á. Để mà vượt qua được cái sướng để mà chui vô học tập á, con người ta, nhiều người không vượt qua nổi. A lot of people they cannot overcome their own comfort zone, you know. Không vượt qua được cái vùng an toàn của họ. They cannot overcome the comfort zone. Something like that. Think about that. Okay, so you have some time now, Miss. All right, you can do it now. Describe a difficult thing you did, Miss Anh Thư, please.
Well, a difficult thing that I did it was completing a marathon competition that
A
in my
marathon.
school.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it was my first one, and I didn't really have much experience. However, fortunately, I had my friends, my classmates to motivate me to
Who
enter and
motivated
complete
me? Who motivated me?
motivated me to enter and completed it. So to attend the competition, I had to stick to a strict schedule, and I have to gradually increase the number of kilometers I run every week. I also focused on proper nutrition so that uh, I could have the best preparation for the
Preparation,
competition.
preparation. Không phải
Preparation,
preparation, that's preparation.
preparation for the competition. Well, the reason I well, the reason it was difficult for me was that it was a really long run, and it was my first, and I had to run like 5 kilometers, and also I had to carry my own water bottles and like some of my snacks. So yeah, I think it was really tiring for me. However, when I crossed the line, I wasn't the first one, of course, but I wasn't the last. I felt a sense of fulfillment, of accomplishment, knowing that I had tried my best and I and tried my best and achieved something that I didn't think that I could. So I felt really overwhelmed and extremely happy for the experience I had, although it was a bit difficult for me.
Okay, very good. So be careful with the verbs, okay? And some of the pronunciation, you will be better. Cẩn thận cái động từ thì nào với lại phát âm chút xíu sẽ ổn hơn. Okay, let's go to part 3 now. So what kind of jobs require people to be confident then?
Well, I think the kind of jobs that require people to be confident is are the jobs that uh, are the jobs of people who have to speak in front of a crowd of a lot of people. Some jobs I can say is that MC or actors and actresses or singers, maybe lawyers and businessmen as well, as not only do they have to speak in front of a crowd, but they also have to be confident in order to deliver the messages, deliver their speech
Mhm.
confidently, so that people will be like persuaded and people will uh,
Persuaded. Careful, the word persuaded. To persuade someone to do something. Nhấn âm đầu nha.
persuade.
To persuade. People will be persuaded, or you can say people will be convinced. Oh, sorry, to convince someone, but to persuade someone, be careful. So people will be convinced, or people will be persuaded, you know? Okay. Anything else?
Mm, no, I think that's all.
All right, so on what occasions should children be encouraged and how?
Well, I think children should be encouraged when they move to a new environment and they have to make new friends or pick up new hobbies, or when they have to make their own decisions,
Mhm.
and also when they have to attend a competition or an exam, because those are the times when children are moving to a completely are those are the times when children are having the significant changes. So without the encouragement, I think children will not be able to handle the situation well, and to uh, that will make them feel um, that will make them feel disencouraged, and like lost they are lost and they don't know what to do in those situations.
Mhm.
And to encourage children, we can give them advice, we can comfort them, or
We can do what?
communicate with them.
We can
Comfort,
comfort them, right?
comfort, comfort.
Be careful.
Yeah.
It's a verb to comfort someone. Okay, to comfort them. Okay. Any other ways? We
uh,
should encourage them using like gifts, or um, there are materials encouragement you can give to them. Những cái sự mà khuyến khích bằng vật chất chẳng hạn, đây là material encouragement you can give to them, including like money. Of course, money is a very good encouragement. Like I remember when I was younger, when I was a child, whenever I get the best score in the exam, my mother used to give me 5,000 down. So I just put it into my saving account, my saving, and then by the end of the year, it's like I got quite a bit of money. It was fun, really fun. Well, actually, my point is that monetary, monetary income, monetary encouragement. is actually a good way because I think money is a very good method. It's a very good thing to encourage people with. It's a very strong encouragement actually. Một cái sự khuyến khích cực kỳ mạnh luôn á. Đó là tiền. So what do you think about those ways to encourage children?
I think it will help them like to adapt to the new environments better. Like they know how to, they have more confidence to like solve the problems, to do what they want without being like without being shy or disencouraged. Yeah, it helps them to get better.
Okay. All right. So how do you help children stay focused then?
Well, I think there are several ways to help children to stay focused. Well, first, we can remove the distractions. I mean, children nowadays are focused much on the um, technological devices and some games that can help them relax and like um, they can help them to have fun. So by removing those distractions, uh, children have children can stay focused more on what they are doing and avoid the concentration span. Um,
You mean try
Moreover,
to what? Try to improve the concentration span,
no,
you mean?
avoid. I mean avoid
Avoid what?
concentration span.
Ừ, ngăn ngừa cái khoảng thời gian tập trung hả? What? What do you mean?
No, no, no.
Careful with that.
Improve. Yeah, it's improve.
Improve the attention span. We don't say concentration span. We say attention span, Cẩn thận nha, dùng đúng từ nha. So, okay, what challenges do young people face today then? I think it's better if you give an example. How do you help children stay focused on their study of, let's say, the piano or of doing math or doing exercises? You should give an example for that. Let's try that. Cho ví dụ thử coi nha. Can you give an example?
Maybe when children are doing homework, uh, they feel like they feel like doing homework is causes them trouble and it reduces their playtime. So and they will and they want to like play video games or read books. But if we remove those distractions, maybe children are more focused on their study, and maybe we have to let them know that if they do their homework well, then we will let them enjoy those games or books. So yeah, I think that's a way.
I see. Right. So, what challenges do young people face today then? It's a huge question.
Well, I think young people nowadays face a lot of challenges. Uh, it can be finding jobs or health risks or online scams. As a matter of fact, artificial intelligence is is developing day by day, and I can see many factories and industries are using AI instead of labor force. So many young people are not able to find jobs, even though they have graduated university or have some degrees, but they still have a hard time find an appropriate job. Moreover, uh, they also have to face up to health risks, as they have to sit too much in front of a computer in order to meet the deadline of their work. So it will cause them disease like obesity or it poor eyesight and maybe high blood pressure. Uh, lastly, uh, finally, I think they also have to face online scams. I mean, um, online shopping is becoming extremely popular these days, and young people, the majority of young people, they rely much on those online shops to buy things. So many online shops uh, they may deceive those young people, and they may produce bad, poor quality products and then give to the give to young people. So yeah, I think they have to face those three challenges today.
I think there's a lot more because think about I think the most terrible, the most imminent challenges that they have to face every day is to be replaced by AI, and then the kind of jobs that they want, it's just really hard to get hired, you know. It's really hard to get hired for any jobs they want because the competition rate is so fierce. That is the most immediate and imminent danger. The second thing is challenge is that you can hardly be able to work and to be able to afford your own apartment, you know, or your own house. It's really hard to be able to get an apartment these days, especially in Vietnam. People actually can do a calculation, and it takes about 57 years for an average Vietnamese worker, office worker, to be able to buy their first house. And that length is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, every year. It's almost it's almost like you can never do that because the house price the house prices is just getting, oh my God, it's going up, up, up and up, you know. It's terrible. That is another challenge that you have to face because you always have to pay rent these days. Luôn luôn phải trả tiền thuê nhà, đó là một cái challenge đó. Và khó mua nhà lắm luôn. That is extremely hard for young people to buy a house. That's something I can add, you know. All right, let's try another one. Oh, moment, I think. Okay. Oh, this is part two. I forgot. Okay. I wrote in the wrong place. This is part two, right? It's 75. Okay, I see. Let's try 74 now. Describe a time when you moved to a new home or school. Miêu tả một cái lúc mà bạn di chuyển tới một cái nhà mới hoặc là trường mới. Of course, you did that a lot in your previous years when you moved from, let's say, primary school to secondary schools, from secondary school to high school, something like that, you know. So you should still remember something about that. Miêu tả một thời điểm mà bạn chuyển đến một trường mới hoặc nhà mới. You should say when you moved. Bạn chuyển lúc nào? Where you moved? Bạn chuyển chỗ nào? Why you moved? Tại sao bạn lại chuyển? And how you felt about it? Bạn cảm thấy thế nào về điều đó? And then part 3, why do people move to a new home? Tại sao con người ta lại chuyển đến một cái nhà mới vậy? So think about problems with the old apartment or houses. Problem with old homes. Like for example, if there were issues like with neighbors, vấn đề với những người hàng xóm, issues with the owner, because sometimes their homes are not your home. It's just like a rental, you know. If your home is a rental, nhà thuê, if your home is a rental, if you have problems with the owners, obviously you need to move, you know. You cannot just stay there because more and more problems will show up, you know. Think about you find some people, they find a better deal, so that's why they move, you know. Nó kiếm được điều tốt hơn, kiếm được nhà tốt hơn. Yeah, it's simply like that. Okay, think about the reason. What problems will people face after moving to a new place? And how do people solve these problems? Con người ta sẽ phải đối diện với những cái vấn đề nào sau khi di chuyển đến một nơi mới? Think about the fact that they have to buy new furnitures. Buy new furnitures. And get rid of old or outdated ones. Of course, you have to get rid of them, like you give away to people or something like that, or you have to sell them for cheap. And think about the fact that you have to spend a lot of money to renovate your new home, để mà sơn sửa lại cái nhà mới á. To renovate your home sometimes it's very expensive, you know, very costly, cực kỳ tốn nhiều thời tiền luôn á, costly lắm luôn á. Okay, so think about the fact that sometimes you find things that the seller didn't tell you. Đôi khi cái người bán họ không có nói cho mình biết một số vấn đề. Sometimes the seller didn't tell you about problems with the home. For example, pest infestation. Bị những cái con mà côn trùng sâu bọ nó làm tổ trong nhà. It's called pest infestation, you know. Bị nhiễm những cái con mà sâu bệnh, những con côn trùng này nọ nó làm tổ trong nhà. So when bugs, ants, cockroaches, they nest. So they nest inside of your home. They're in cupboards, in any kind of places you can think of. That is pest infestation, and that's a huge problem, you know, một vấn đề lớn luôn á. And that can affect your health negatively, affect your health. Of course, very bad. And also think about mold infestation as well. Bị nhiễm nấm, bị nhiễm mấy cái con móc nó mọc lên á. Mold infestation also happens when the home nhưng mà quan mà nguy hại nhất là bị nước nó tràn vô, nó làm hư đồ. But I think the most problematic one is basically when there was a flood, you know, and the water gets into the floor and cupboards. Water gets into the floor and cupboards. You have to remove them because you cannot use them anymore, and that costs a lot of money. Nước nó phá hủy tất cả mọi thứ nha. Well, water can destroy a lot of things. When they get to the floor and cupboards, you have to remove them and you have to build new cupboards, new floor, you know. Think about and how do people solve this problem? You just have to spend money and hire people to solve these things for you. Or you have to buy new material and try to fix your home yourself if you don't have enough money to hire professional people to do that. Okay, so think about what are the advantages and disadvantages of living in the same place. Cứ sống cùng một nơi đi thì có ích lợi gì và bất lợi gì. Think about the fact that the longer you stay in a place, actually, the more problems it will show up in a home. And the more you need fixing, the more renovation you need, you know. Càng sống lâu một nơi thì nó càng dễ bị nhiều vấn đề và càng cần phải sơn sửa lại. Think about what I just said about mold infestation and pest infestation as well. Wherever there are humans, there are food, right? And it invite a lot of cockroaches, it invite ants, it invite bugs into the place, and also mold too. Có người là có đồ ăn chắc chắn có kiến và gián các thứ, nó mời vô nhà luôn á, và sẽ có móc nữa. Think about that. Think about the fact that your home will degrade through time. You know the word upgrade, so there's another word opposite of that, antonym, it's degrade. Từ trái nghĩa của upgrade là degrade. Nhà nó sẽ xuống cấp thông qua thời gian. Your home will degrade through time. Think about that. And think about bad feng shui. Phong thủy xấu. Because why? If you stay in the same place, you do not rearrange. Do not rearrange the furnitures. If you do not do that, the energy is stuck. Cái năng lượng nó bị stuck, nó bị đứng yên chỗ, and it's bad feng shui. Because the air must move inside the home to have good feng shui, you know. Cái không khí nó phải di chuyển trong nhà tốt thì nó mới gọi là có phong thủy tốt được nha. Think about that. And so think about the fact that living in the same place every year, you see the same thing. You cannot change your perspective, không thay đổi cái điểm nhìn của mình, cách nhìn nhận, cách suy nghĩ. You cannot change your perspective, your opinions of things very well. You become stuck in your head, you know. Mình bị kẹt cứng trong cái đầu mình, cái suy nghĩ nó không có giống như là mình không có thoát ra được cái cách suy nghĩ cũ. And this is bad. But there's an advantage to that, of course. Living in the same place, you do not have to spend money moving to a new home and renovating. Không phải bỏ tiền ra để mà xong sửa lại, không phải di chuyển thì không tốn tiền. Yeah, that's a good advantage. And there are other things as well. You think about that one. Now, last question. Is it good to move to a new place frequently? Why? Di chuyển một nơi mới một cách thường xuyên thì có tốt không? Tại sao? Think about what I just said. Okay. All right. Describe a time when you moved to a new home, school, please.
I moved to a new school. It happened about 2 years ago when I moved from my secondary school to my high school now. And I think it was an important stage of my life, as I think it changed a lot for me when I was in secondary school and now I'm in my high school. Initially, I wasn't really sure that if I liked my new school or not, because moving to a new school means I have to change a lot. I have to build other relationships, and I have been in my secondary school for like 4 years, so changing was a bit hard for me. And I was really shy when I first came to class, but when I got to know my classmates better, I felt that they were pretty nice and helpful and really friendly to me. And moreover, the teachers were actually better than those in my secondary school. They helped me a lot to like get over the shock of changing and starting my high school experience. And after that, I started to like my new school a lot, and I loved going to school. So moving to this new high school was a bit shocking at first, but for me, it was a life-changing experience. It it helped me to like become better for myself, and I have learned a lot from this experience.
All right, good, good, good. Now, so why do people move to a new home then? What do you think?
Well, I think there are several reasons why people move to a new home. Uh, I can think of two reasons, as maybe they have problems with maybe three reasons. Maybe they have problems with their own homes, or maybe when the members of the family increase, and when they need to find new opportunities for their job, for their growth. So first, problems with their own homes. It could be like conflicts with their neighbors or with their owners if they live in a rental house. Um, Moreover, maybe the, the old homes are no longer appropriate for them, and they feel like they need to have a new environment to improve themselves. So they move. And moreover, they when the job they need, when they have a new job and they want to and they don't want to move too far the, to the job, to the workplace, they may move to a house that is nearer to their workplace so that they don't have to travel too much.
See,
And more, yeah, that's
how about when there's a problem with a landlord or something that I told you before, yeah? Have you
maybe
ever
they
have you ever lived in a rental? You probably will
no,
if you when you become a student in a university, you know.
yeah, in just 1 year.
In just 1 year, you'll be a student in a university, and you will probably need to rent a place to live if you go abroad, travel abroad, you know. So you will experience it firsthand. Like there could be a lot of problems with the landlords, you know. So very typical, a lot of problems between renters, between tenants and landlords. Kiểu chủ nhà và người thuê nhà nhiều vấn đề lắm luôn á. There's a lot of problems. Anyway, so what problems will people face? What problems will people face after moving to a new place? And how do people solve these problems then?
The problems that people may will face after moving to a new place can be buying new furniture and maybe problems that in the house that they buy that the sellers didn't tell them before, or maybe it can be the problem of packing and moving. Uh, when moving to a new place, they have to buy new furniture and get rid of the outdated ones, and I think it will cost them a large sum of money, maybe
Mhm,
because their savings. Uh, Also, they may have to face up to problems in the houses like maybe pest infestation, like
mhm,
bugs, ants, or cockroaches that live that pest that nest in their houses that
mhm.
the sellers didn't tell because they didn't want to scare us and they want us to buy the house. Or it can be the problem of packing and moving because moving to a new place requires you to pack your old stuff, your old things, and you have to decide what to keep and what to give away to other people or buy them. So I think it's a really
Yes.
uh, it can be a really like
What word are you trying to find to express?
uh, it demands you many of your efforts. You have to like it's hard work. I cannot think of that word, but yeah, it's like it
A lot of hard
it
work, okay?
yeah, a lot of hard work
And
about packing
also
and moving.
it's the money have to be spent, you know, a lot of money has to be spent
Yeah.
too. It's not easy, let's just say that. Okay, so Think about what are the disadvantages and advantages of living in the same place then? What do you think?
Well, about the advantages, I think living in the same place gives you a sense of um, give you a sense of familiarity, like you are used to that place you are living, and maybe you will feel a sense of security. It will give you peace and relax when you live in the place. And moreover, you don't have to waste much time adapting to the new environment. As moving to new places requires you to requires many requires many a lot of efforts to like adapt to the new home so that you can live happily and peacefully in that place. And moreover, when you change your place, it may cost you a lot of money. So yeah, that's the advantages of living in the same place. And about the disadvantages, maybe living in the same place sometimes makes you feel bored because you have no change to your environment. You get too familiar with it, and maybe you will not, maybe you will like are not motivated to strive more in your life. Uh, but and living in the same place, you will also cost a lot of money to fix and renovate the old
Think the
furniture. So
longer, I
that
think the longer you stay in the same place for many years, the more problems it will cause, and it can affect your health so much, and affect your mental health as well. Think about the old people who stay in one place for like 30, 40, or 50 years. The longer they stay in the same place, the worse their health becomes, and also the way they treat the others. Oh my God, it's terrible. Nó ảnh hưởng đến sức khỏe tinh thần của họ đó nha, ảnh hưởng sức khỏe bình thường nữa. Và họ trở nên cáu bẳn, trở nên rất là bực bội hơn. Think about that. So staying in the same place is not a good idea, I think. I mean, yeah. All right, so is it good to move to a new place frequently? Why?
to be honest, I personally think that it is not a good idea to move to a new place frequently. Well, there are three reasons for this. First is about the cost of moving. When
The
you
cost?
change
You mean the cost?
the cost of moving, yeah. When you move to a new place, spend you have to spend a large amount of money in order to choose an appropriate home for you, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the places may be a little expensive, or maybe sometimes out of your reach. And the second, maybe when you move to a new place, you will have a hard time to adapt to the new environment.
Mm-hmm.
When you change your place,
The place of residence, right? Nơi ở,
yeah,
the place of residence, yeah.
residence.
Mm-hmm. The place of
And
residence. Nơi ăn trú ở, or your accommodation, yeah.
yeah, and sometimes it gives you a sense of insecurity, and you will feel like you don't feel as safe as you will be in your old place. And the third reason is that when you move to a new place frequently, the relationships will not be strong. Relationships with neighbors or other people in your place will not be strong. And when you just get to know them, and then you have to move to a new place, and maybe in maybe when you get older in your life, you may not have too many friends to you rely on and to have fun with. So yeah, I think that's the reasons why I don't think moving to a new place frequently is good.
I see. I see. All right, so let's try another one. So this is 74. Okay. Well, you're quick. I would say you're really quick now. Let's try. Okay, let's try more difficult topics. Are you familiar with the topic of history or crime?
No, absolutely not. Crime, I've never seen one.
Okay, so I would have to give you something here. Like, okay, go to my channel. Okay, just go to my YouTube channel and then okay, you should probably search on my channel about speaking and then history. You should probably have yeah, you should try to watch these videos. You know, people talking about history and things like that here. This is like where you can learn about history. This is my book, okay? You can learn very difficult to learn, but it's a topic that is very hard and vital, okay? And also, if you search for crime, you can see here, crime, here you go. It's only 3 years ago, but actually it's very important to learn. And here, crime, you can see um, here as well. And they are, okay, this is a unit in my book that I wrote myself. You can learn about it, okay? Okay, so so those things are the thing that we will do at the very end. So I would suggest you spend time watching those videos before we reach the end of our um, list here, and we'll go through these hard topics, okay? Mister, you have to watch a lot of videos to have idea crimes and history and then space, okay?
Okay.
Outer space and then technology, AI, something like that, you know. Those things are really difficult. Like, for example, 70, 71, 72, 73 here. Very difficult. Now, um, there are less difficult things. Let's say their topic number 80, for example. Let's try it. Describe a time when you waited for something special that would happen. Miêu tả một thời điểm mà bạn lúc đó đã chờ một cái gì đó đặc biệt để nó diễn ra. You should say what you waited for. Lúc đó bạn chờ cái gì vậy? Where you waited. Bạn đã chờ ở đâu? Why it was special. Tại sao điều đó là đặc biệt? And explain how you felt when you were waiting. Giải thích là bạn cảm thấy thế nào khi lúc đó bạn đang chờ vậy. Wow, look at the sunset. The sunset looked absolutely beautiful from my window. Oh my God. Oh
It's
my God.
raining.
The sunset has looked absolutely beautiful from my window. Oh wow. I have to remember to make piano videos when there's about sunset, you know, so I can capture the sunset as well as my piano playing, and people will love that. Beautiful, absolutely. Chỗ đẹp dã man luôn á, cái lúc mà sunset từ cái chỗ cửa phổ phòng mình đó. All right, so let's go to part 3 now. So on what occasions do people usually need to wait and why? Ở những cái dịp nào con người ta thường cần phải chờ và tại sao vậy? This one is not that hard for you. So who behave better when waiting, children or adults? Ai hành xử tốt hơn khi phải chờ, trẻ em hay người lớn vậy? Remember that not all the time children behave worse than adults, you know. There's a lot of adults who behave very badly, you know. Nhiều người lớn hành xử kỳ lắm, phải không đâu, không phải chỉ mỗi trẻ con không đâu. So think about it. Now, compare to the past. Are people less patient now and why? Nếu được so sánh với quá khứ, con người ta có ít kiên nhẫn hơn không? Tại sao? And what are the positive and negative effects of waiting on society? Cái ảnh hưởng tích cực và tiêu cực của chuyện chờ đợi lên xã hội là gì? Think about if people have to wait, does it makes people more patient? And then because of that, they can wait for, they can have more, what's it called? Diligence. What is the word? Okay, let me just find the right word for that. And of course, as always, the quality of working carefully with a lot of efforts. Làm việc rất cẩn thận với rất nhiều nỗ lực. People will be diligent enough in their work if they are patient, you know. If they learn to wait, you will have the diligence in work, and that is very good. Có được cái sự mà chăm chỉ làm việc, lao động và làm việc rất cẩn thận, với rất nhiều nỗ lực. It's diligence. Think about waiting means like you are spending time, right? And waiting, and you do nothing actually. So time wasted is actually money wasted as well. Thời gian là tiền bạc. Remember that. Time is money. So the negative effects of waiting is that there are chances that you miss because you wait and you do not take action. Không hành động, cứ chờ, mất cơ hội. Yeah, that's actually what happened. Think about I think it's quite a question that you need to think about the most, I think. All right, it's thinking time. Now, Miss Thư, please describe a time when you waited for something special that would happen.
Well, a time when I waited for something special that would happen was a fireworks display on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I mean, well, the display happens every single year, but each time I feel like it was my first time. And I think the firework performance was really special. Is was because it for me it evoked my curiosity. It made me feel really inquisitive about what was going to happen because each year they change the fireworks. So I was always excited. When I waited for the firework display to happen, I've a mix of emotions. I felt a mix of emotions when I waited. Well, I was really excited and I was really eager to know how the firework performance would be, how and whether it was as good as the last year or it was better than I expected. And moreover, I saw a lot of people around me also waiting for like me for the display. And I could see they were really happy, they were nervous, they were excited about what was going to happen. And when I waited, I felt like every minute was like an eternity. But then when the firework display happened, it was really meaningful. It was really beautiful, and I think it was really worth it for me to wait such a long time, like about 15 minutes for the performance, and I was really satisfied.
Yes. Okay, very good. Now, so on what occasions do people usually need to wait and why? What do you think?
Well, the occasions when people have to wait, maybe when they are lining up for something or when they have to wait for an appointment. Well, sometimes people have to wait for a long time at stores, food stores, or close stores, especially when it is a time when, especially when it's a time when it's a busy time, when everybody goes shopping for, like maybe in New Year, people have to wait a long, long line in order to buy clothes or buy food because everybody was doing the same thing. And moreover, they also have to wait for medical appointment. I have been to, I have seen many people have to wait for like 1 or 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
in order when so that they can go to the office and then have an appointment with the doctors or maybe the dentist. So yeah, many people have uh, yeah, that's when people have to wait for a long time.
Mm. And did you mention the fact that people usually need to wait to do paperwork in the governmental buildings, no? And people need to
Yeah,
wait
I forgot.
yeah, that could be one thing you can mention. And also think about the fact that people need to wait in order to buy tickets in public places. Normally, public places are where people need to wait the most. Think about supermarkets when you have to wait in line in order to pay, you know? Okay, let's give those example, can you?
Mm,
Okay, can you give examples of occasions where people usually need to wait? Let's enlarge, let's enhance your examples. Bây giờ mình mở rộng những cái ví dụ thử xem. Let's try it. Let's do.
um, maybe when they have to wait to get on the plane. Mm, when
Exactly, waiting to get on board, you know. It's like when you wait for boarding time, thời gian lên máy bay. It's called boarding, waiting for boarding, you know. Oh, well, that's what happened. And also you need to mention about paperwork. A lot of the time people need to wait a lot in order to get things done in public places, including doing paperwork, you know. So who behave better when waiting? Children or adults? What do you think?
well, I think whether that children or adults behave better when waiting
Mm-hmm.
depends on certain situations. Usually, I think adults they behave better than children when they have to wait for something,
Mm-hmm.
because they are grown-ups and they are aware of what is happening, and yeah, and they will not get annoyed when they have to, and they know that they have to wait as other people, so they will not cause many trouble. But there are also many adults who get annoyed, get irritated when waiting because they feel like waiting wastes too much of their time,
Mm-hmm.
and it causes them a lot of annoyance, and sometimes they may cut the line or they may have conflicts with other people who are lining up before them. But children, well, I'm mostly children. They do not understand like why they have to wait for something, and they maybe some children are used to being indulged, like they get whatever they want when they want, and when they have to wait, they will not be satisfied, and maybe they will cause some problems, maybe cry like they until they do not have to wait anymore.
Okay.
So, but yeah, many kids, other kids maybe they behave
Children.
better. Yeah, children,
How
other
many
children.
children who behave better. But I have
Yeah.
seen so many adults who behave terribly, and some even have a very high position in the society, or they have a very high educational credentials. Có tiến sĩ rồi mà vẫn rất kỳ nha. They have a very high educational credential, cái bằng cấp về giáo dục, các thứ rất là ghê nha. Educational credentials, some people they have a PhD degree, but they behave terrible, terribly. Okay, so compared to the past, are people less patient now, and why?
Well, I suppose that people nowadays are less patient than they were in the past. Uh, I think because like today it is today everything is really fast and
Mm-hmm.
people do not really get used to waiting for a long time. They can um, order something online and then they do not have to wait for a long time in public places or at stores and
Mm-hmm.
buildings in order to get their work done. They can just use their phone and let let the let AI do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And mm, moreover, life is also busier. So people always have to like hurry to in order to meet the deadline or get uh, to, to people always have to hurry to do their work. So they gradually they will become less patient and they will always hurried and quick to
Think
do.
about AI, think about apps that you can use. Everything you can order very quickly, right? Online these days. So it means what is the impact of that? People can demand the same thing when it comes to studying. People can demand the same thing when it comes to dating, to human interactions. That's why, I mean, maybe they instinctively or maybe subconsciously they demand the same thing. Giống như là mọi thứ order trên mạng rất dễ dàng bây giờ, nó thiệt luôn, nó ảnh hưởng một cách tiềm thức, subconsciously, ảnh hưởng một cách tiềm thức là con người. So subconsciously, it affects people. So people often demand the same thing when it comes to many things like social relationship, mối quan hệ xã hội. Cũng phải lẹ như vậy. People demand studying to be also as fast, Người ta cũng đòi hỏi phải học cũng phải lẹ như vậy mới chịu được, không học lâu được. It's like that. And I have seen that so many times that people demand like 2 or 3 months, can we get to band 7 IELTS? 2-3 tháng lên được IELTS 7.0. And then look at their problem, and their English is just broken, so broken.
Yeah.
Well, people learn, So think about that as well. I think that's a very important thing you should mention. The development of technology, cái quan trọng lắm luôn á, cái phát triển công nghệ á. Okay, để cho cái câu này. Okay, so what do you think about the development of technology on waiting? Does it help or does it harm?
I think it does help, but it does cause some harm because life is fast, so people need everything to be fast as well. And technology like give people a chance to do everything faster, and I think they rely much on them to organize their daily life. But it does cause harm because maybe people become too used to that, and sometimes when they have to wait for something, they maybe it's I think they find it really hard to wait. So maybe they can cause some problems to them, and yeah, it can result in bad consequences.
All right, so think about this one. Miss Two, um, what are the positive and negative effects of waiting on society? So waiting, does it cause any good or bad to society? If people have to wait a lot, like you remember what happened during COVID-19 pandemic, right? People have to wait a long line in order to get vaccinated, you know? You remember that one, right?
Yeah.
So does it cause any harm or good effects on society? Do people become impatient? Is there any problem? Something like that, you know?
Maybe I think that a positive side effect is that maybe
Effects,
in some
effects,
effect, in some
effect âm hai nha. Positive effects.
effect,
Mhm.
maybe it in some cases it does help people to become more patient,
Mhm.
because I mean everybody is waiting as well, along with them, and they will they will be aware that they are not the only ones. So maybe it will teach them how to be patient and not too fast to do whatever they want to do. And maybe maybe sometimes waiting is like it gives them a better opportunity to achieve something in life, because maybe sometimes being too fast is not like the best choice, that you have to wait for the right time so that you can
I see.
be successful. Yeah. But sometimes waiting makes people uh, maybe like it can make people become aggressive, because I mean in this society nowadays, time means money. When you waste too much time waiting for something, maybe
Mhm.
you will lose the chances to do other stuff, other work.
Not
So
all the
it will
time
cause,
waiting is bliss, you know? Không phải lúc nào chờ đợi cũng là hạnh phúc.
yeah.
You know, not all the time waiting is bliss. No, it's not. All right, so okay, that's good enough for 80. All right. Let's try 75, 85. It's very interesting. Describe a businessman you admire. Miêu tả một người doanh nhân mà bạn ngưỡng mộ. 85. Okay, a businessman you admire. You should say who this person is, how you knew this person, what kind of business this person does. Người này làm cái kiểu buôn bán cái gì. And explain why you admire this person. Tại sao mình lại ngưỡng mộ người này. And then part 3, what do you think is the retirement age for men and women? Bạn nghĩ gì về độ tuổi về hưu của nam và nữ? Like, should it increase? Should it decrease? Um, and so, you know, in Vietnam, there has been a debate to increase the retirement age for men and women because people these days, they live longer, you know, than in the past. Con người ta thực sự bây giờ người ta đang sống dài hơn, sống lâu hơn trong quá khứ nha. Cho nên là cái tuổi về hưu nó cũng phải thay đổi. But there has been an ongoing debate. Bây giờ người ta vẫn đang gọi là người ta tranh luận mà nó vẫn đang tiếp tục luôn á. An ongoing debate going on. Because why? If you increase the retirement age, it means people have to work for a few more years before they can enjoy the benefits of retirement, including pension, you know. Người ta phải làm thêm vài năm nữa người ta mới được hưởng lương hưu nha. That is the thing. If you quit just a few years before that, you won't receive pension. Mình mà nghỉ ngang xương trước cái độ tuổi về hưu là không được hưởng lương hưu nha. And so that's the thing. So, but the thing here is, if people retire, they do not work. And the younger people have to work to support the older people, to support the aging population, you know. Người ta phải làm việc để người ta nuôi nấng cái dân số mà đang già đi ở Việt Nam ha. They have to work to support the aging population. That is a big problem, you know. It's a huge problem in Western countries these days, where there's so many old people, you know. And if the retirement age does not increase, then there will be even more old people not working, you know. Nó còn nhiều người mà già mà không làm việc lao động nữa. Thì người trẻ còn phải gánh team, còn phải gánh dã man nữa nè. Okay, so think about that one that I just said about how the young people have to support the aging population so much. And think about the fact that there could be a lot of conflicts, you know, có thể có nhiều cái xung đột lắm luôn ở xã hội ấy. There's a lot of conflict in the society because of that. So think about that. Now, what kinds of qualities do people need to run their own business? Những phẩm chất nào con người cần để mà vận hành cái doanh nghiệp của riêng họ? Like to run your own business, what kind of person should you be? Should you be kind? Should you be cruel? Có nên ác độc hay là nên tử tế? Should you treat people with respect? Đối xử với người ta tôn trọng hay không? Should you how can I say to oh sorry, I shouldn't write here. Should you have a long-term vision, tầm nhìn lâu dài, have a long-term vision for the future? You know, a lot of businesses in Vietnam actually have a very short-term vision. They want profit, profit, and profit very quickly. But then, of course, because of that, their businesses do not last long. Doanh nghiệp Việt Nam phần đông là muốn lợi nhuận nhanh mà cái nhìn ngắn hạn lắm luôn á. Cho nên là đủ thứ chiêu trò they employ tricks and gimmicks in order to earn as much profit as possible in a short term so they can sell their business, để mà sau đó là kiếm được lợi nhuận thật nhanh xong rồi cái bán cái doanh nghiệp đi. You know, it's a very bad thing. Because why? The customer is going to suffer the most. Cái người khách hàng ta sẽ gặp chịu khổ rất là nhiều luôn á. Okay, just a moment please. Can you give me a moment? All right, you should think about this one. I don't think this okay, it requires some thinking, but since you are still a student, it can be harder for you to answer this question, but I believe you can do that. Okay, just have a think now. Okay, you should be able to do this one now, I think. Now, can you describe a businessman you admire, Miss Anh Thư, please?
Well, a businessman that I admire is Bill Gates. He's a billionaire. And a few years ago, when I was in my literature class, my teacher mentioned him as an example for my essay, like a successful businessman. And I was really curious, so I looked him out on the internet and I found out really interesting information about him.
Interesting, những âm đầu nha. Interesting.
Interesting information about him. He's the co-founder of Microsoft. And Microsoft is best known for selling software, which is really important in modern world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the reason why I admire him because I read that actually at first he went to Harvard to study law, but then
He
he
dropped.
dropped out of school. Yeah, and he dropped out of school in order to pursue his dream
Mhm.
about his dream of software and yeah, and he and his friend spent a few years in order to research and eventually to invent Microsoft. And I think it's hard work and maybe it like I think the time he spent to all those times, I think they were really fascinating, and I I really admire his efforts and his efforts to try and to
And to succeed, right?
yeah.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so what do you think is the retirement age of men and women?
Well, I think it depends on the type of work. Uh, I mean for for the elderly who work in who work in professions that require intensive manual labor, I think they should be given an early retirement at maybe about 55 for both men and women.
Oh,
But
55 is just early, you think? Because people these days they can live up to 100. So it means that there are 40 plus years that you don't do nothing, you don't do anything, that young people have to support them, you know? That's terrible. I think so. I think retirement age should be 70 or maybe 75, I think. What do you think?
yeah, yeah, maybe I think the same as you.
But
Uh,
remember that the older you become, the less effective you work, and you cannot really deal with pressure in the same way as young people. You know, you cannot work effectively as young people. No, sorry, work efficiently as the young people. Không thể làm việc một cách mà có hiệu suất cao được như là người trẻ đâu. Efficiently. Oh well. Well, so what kind of qualities do people need to run their own business? What do you think?
I suppose there are a number of there are a number of qualities that occur that people need to run their own business. First, I think they need to be confident and they are not afraid of failures, because when you start your own business, maybe you will not receive much help from other people. You have to rely much on yourself, and uh, sometimes you have to and sometimes you have to
Sometimes you have to rely on your luck, and also you have to
yeah.
take a risk a lot. Phải mạo hiểm lắm luôn phải không đâu? You have to take a risk a lot, and then you have to rely on your luck. And a lot of the time you fail. You know, a lot of businesses fail very miserably, and they owe people money a lot. You know, nợ tiền con người ta quá trời luôn á. So I knew for a fact that a lot of small businesses in Vietnam, they fail miserably, you know. And a lot of people they have to go into hiding because of that. Đi trốn luôn vì không đủ tiền trả nợ. Yeah. Okay, so what else do you think? So what do you think are the key factors, những nhân tố chính that contribute to the success of a business mà nó bổ trợ cho cái sự thành công của doanh nghiệp? What do you think makes people successful in a business?
Well, I think in order to succeed in a business, I think people need to have a good management and they have to like produce good quality products, and they need to know how to treat their employees appropriately, so that the employees will not leave the company. Uh, I think you need to manage your business well so that you can know how the work is going and whether that the products are good
Products,
enough to
products, products, products,
products
products.
products are good enough to sell out.
Mhm.
Mm,
And also, I think the main
and
thing is to be honest with the customers. Do not use tricks and gimmicks too much. Because of course, customer they know what they spend money on, you know. They know if you're trustworthy or not. So if a business is not trustworthy, people will not buy their products. But also you have to think about the competition và chơi xấu and of course foul play. Of course, if your opponent is going to do foul play, you know. And also you have to be careful of a lot of things when you run a business. So if you had the opportunities to have your own business, what business would it be and why? What would you sell, Miss Thư?
well, I think I would sell clothes. Maybe I would start a business in fashion. Well, there are two reasons why I want to try it, why I want to have this business. The first is that nowadays people are paying much attention to their clothes, to their looks.
Mhm.
So I think when I sell clothes and fashionable clothes, I think people will buy them, and in order to look good, and maybe if I am successful, then I'll become a famous brand, then people more and will buy them more and more because they want to like reinforce their social status. Well, the second reason is that I think I have some talent in fashion. Like whenever I go out, I always know how to what to wear and how to mix clothes together. And yeah, I have received many compliments on the way I dress. So I think that if I had the opportunity to have my own business, I think I would try in fashion, in buying clothes, in selling clothes.
So may I ask your zodiac sign, Miss Anh Thư?
Is Capricorn.
Oh, it's strange for Capricorn to have that, but a Capricorn can run a business very well.
Yeah, I
But
know.
yep, you guys know what's up. You guys know how to run a business. The only problem is that Capricorn bosses, they can be very stingy with money. So, you know, just have to know that. Anyway, I think we can stop here for today. Very good, Mr. All right, so we'll continue on Wednesday. We'll move on to more difficult topics later. But remember, Mr. You need to really do topic of crime, history, um, outer space, and other things, okay?
Yeah, I remember.
Mm. All right, good. Okay, that's it for today. Bye. See you then. Thank you.
Goodbye. See you.
Mm, yeah.